G'day, it's Rob here again. Well, that last video I did on this cheap $35 25-piece high-speed steel drill set from Banggood really got a lot of attention. It's still getting a lot of attention. Still a lot of people are looking at it, and it got a lot of comments too. Over 90 comments, which is a hell of a lot, and they're all good stuff, you know. The viewers all behaved themselves, and it was a good little forum type exercise, which I like to see. Comments one of the main things, you know, that make it rewarding doing YouTube, because it's good to interact with other people, and they probably feel the same way. There were quite a few dislikes on this, over 30, which is a lot. I don't know whether they dislike a video because they dislike the video, or they dislike the product. You know, it seems to be, whenever you get a lot of dislikes, it always seems to be on product reviews, where I think people think by giving it the thumbs down, they're thumbing down the product rather than the video. I don't know. They could be thumbing it down because they don't like me. That's quite possible. Anyway, all I can say is, well, I don't know why, but if it's the video, well, there's plenty of other channels you can look at. So now let's look at some of the comments we had, and there are a few. Just to set the scene, I'll show you that I actually am not a newbie when it comes to using drills. I'll show you my collection, and you can get an idea of, yeah, what I'm talking about. So here's the set I showed you in the last video, my regular set. It's all Imperial. I mean, just about all my drills are Imperial. And apart from those, I've also got this container, which has got the odd drill in there, as you can see. I've used a lot of drills over the years, drilled a lot of holes, and I know quality and I know bad quality. Some of these were inherited from my father, some I bought, but a lot of them are things that I've purchased to do jobs, and as you can see, they're all scored, like, you know. This is what those bloody chucks do to them, you know. This one's alright, there's a few good ones in there, but a lot of them are, you know, that's a good one there, it's pretty much brand new. So, and they're all of these are Australian top quality drills, like P&N, Frost, Sutton. These are all top quality drills. Same with these are all top quality drills. Now, have I bought Chinese drills over the years? Well, I have, and I'll show you what I've bought. Probably the first Chinese drills I ever bought was this set, and I got it at a farm field day. And they weren't cheap either, but they were cheap. They were shit, actually, and that coating is not worth a damn, really. You know, you might as well put texture pen on there, you get the same effect. You can see how all the small ones are broken, because these are very brittle drills. Even one of the larger sizes is snapped. All the others hold up well, but yeah, the small sizes, if they're brittle, they go ping-o pretty quick. And so that's set number one, metric. That was my only metric set. Then I bought this set. I got this from Homestead Hardware, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And these are total garbage. They're all sort of floating around here. Not too bad. These have got the worst case of banana-itis I've ever seen. Bendium Plus. There is actually a Chinese metal called Bendium Chromium, I'm sure, because I mean these are definitely made out of that stuff. And on a value for money basis, these are probably minus 100. So don't ever buy this sort of rubbish. They're crap, pure and simple. But you never learn, you know. You never learn, you know. It's cheap. Think, oh, maybe the next ones would be good. So then I bought this little set, and these are made out of, they're not banana-itis in these, but they're cesium. This one here, I actually bent that at 40 degrees in the drill press, would you believe, and then bent it back. The funny thing about these is they do actually drill without losing their edge. Like, they actually do hold an edge. and drill quite well, but yeah, they bend. Beats me. Okay, and the last set I bought, these ones, this set, and these are better. I actually worked with a Greek guy, and he used to crack me up. He had some funny sayings, and one was, this is more better, you know, this is more better than better. So these are crap, these are more better, but doesn't mean they're good. They're actually not bad, but they are, I think, possibly a bit brittle. I haven't broken any yet, and I've used a lot of the small sizes, but yeah, this Greek guy, he had some good ones, more better. And when we used to go to meetings, he'd often come out and say, you know, he'd say, what do you think of that meeting, Con? And he'd just say, plenty bullshits. And plenty bullshits. And I think there's a lot of plenty bullshits on YouTube as well. But anyway, I hope you don't think of that of my videos. Okay, so what next? Well, that's it. Yeah, they're all my Chinese drills. Ding, 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 ding. And now we've got the new ones, the new kid on the block. These ones, you know. And I mean, just drilling holes with them, you know, you can't really tell, except that they're not bent, they haven't got banana-itis. They went through all the metal I drilled with it. They wandered on the stainless steel, but you would have noticed that the 10mm that I previously drilled into mild steel didn't wander in the mild steel, but it did wander in the stainless steel, purely because that stainless steel was really terrible quality, variable density. You could hear it going hard, soft, hard, soft, hard, soft as it was drilling, and every drill I've ever drilled into that with has pulled like crazy. So I shouldn't have really used that in the video. It was a bad metal to use. Everything else went fine. So where are we leading up to? Well, in the viewer comments, Roll Eric, who's a regular viewer and often gives some good comments, said check out Pierre's Garage. Now Pierre's Garage is another channel, good channel, and yeah, I've subscribed. And Pierre got some cobalt drills that he reviewed. He had some Banggood cobalt drills, and then he had two other, one was Harbour Freight, I think, and the other one was a Canadian company. Pierre is in Canada. And what he did was he tested out his cobalt drills by drilling through two or three circular saw blades, which are Rockwell hardness 40 plus, and then he went on to some even harder stuff, some blocks of hard metal. Now he had a Rockwell hardness gauge tester. I don't have that facility, but I do have a circular saw blade that, you know, I would expect is much the same as the ones he used to drill through, and you know, it's pretty hard stuff, I know for sure, because I've cut it and used a little bit of it. So I thought, oh, you know, I'll try one of these high-speed steel drills from this set and just see if it will go through the disc. And I used this drill here. That's the one that's missing out of there. And it actually went through. It went through, no problem. It did chip the edge a little bit because I didn't have it supported. I should have had a block of wood under it like Pierre did, so that was my fault. So I thought, okay, what we'll do today is we'll, because I had comments on, you know, should have drilled something hard, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, then I had the video was too long, but of course, you know, you can't please everybody. And then I didn't show the holes, inside the holes, but you could see pretty clearly in the video that it drilled quite cleanly. But anyway, get away from all that. We're going to try drilling through circular saw blade again, and I'll just redress that edge. It's a bit shit because I think that was my problem there. And I'll use a Frost and a P&N, similar size drills, top quality, and we'll see how they compare. So just a quick, dirty little video to see just how they go through hard stuff like that. Yeah, let's do it. So just as a comparison, here is a range of makers. Chinese drill out of the box, Frost, P&N, Sutton. These three are all made in Australia, all quality drills. most of my Suttons are reduced shank, so we have to remove that from the equation as far as drilling through the saw blade, but you can see that the finish on all of them is comparable. In fact, the Chinese one's very similar to the Sutton. But, all right, we take that out of the equation and we get on and we do some drilling. Now Pierre drilled through the circular saw blade, and here's where I drilled through. I just happened to drill through in this section that's been heated up, but that shouldn't make any difference. I'll drill over here anyway. That's where the Chinese one went through, and you know, typical hard circular saw blade. So you know, you expect the Rockwell is going to be 40 plus, but you know, for every rise in the Rockwell numbers, it gets a lot harder. You can see I've used a bit of this to. I tried making a little parting off blade out of it. It didn't work out too good. So, but for the experiment today, we'll do exactly what Pierre did. So yeah, Pierre is the man, and he did a good job. It was a good video. I highly recommend you look at it. All right, moving on. Right, we'll be spinning all the drills at 250 RPM, which is slow as this big old Royco drill press will go. And I've got a collet chuck in it off the lathe, so I don't mark these drills. We'll do the Frost first, a 3/8 Frost. All these drills are much about the same size, try and keep it uniform. So, let's do it. This is how Pierre did it, so we'll do it the same way. But he was using cobalt drills. No problem, Frost did it easily. Alright, now we'll do the P&N. Whoops. P&N did it, but it was a struggle. My crook shoulder. My motorcycle days didn't help. So the P&N went through, but not as good. It was hard work, very hard. Of course, it was a bigger drill too. But get off there, you bugger. Okay, I've just dressed the Chinese drill tip because it had already drilled through once, so we'll try it again. No problem. In fact, I think it did it the easiest of the whole lot. Certainly went through much easier than that P&N. I might try and find another P&N that's a bit smaller because that was larger. It really did stress out my shoulder badly. Okay, I've got a 3/8 P&N in here now. This one was used, but I've touched up the tip on the lineage, so it's as good as new, and we'll try that. So this will be a fair test. All right, let's do it. you can see that there's really not much between them. I'd say that the P&N and the Chinese went through the easiest. Once again, depends, you know, how good an edge you put on these drills. So let's have a look at the tips now and see if there's any damage. So how do they stand up to it? Well, let's look at the P&N first. There's been a little bit of chipping there, just a little bit. There, it's marked. Tiny, tiny bit of chipping. The tip is blue too, so it's got heated. The same with the Frost, but the Chinese tip hasn't overheated. It went through fairly quickly, the Chinese one, so I think that's got something to do with it. Anyway, let's look at the Frost. Yeah, the Frost looks good. No chipping at all. Oh, just a little bit near the outside of the flute, tiny bit. Now the Chinese one. Yes, it's got more chipping than the other two for sure. But not much more than the P&N, just a tiny bit more than the P&N. One flute's worse than the other. This flute, I'm looking at the top one now, is the worst. So overall, considering what it went through, it stood up pretty damn well. And you saw how they drilled. They all went through, when the Chinese went through pretty damn quick, probably the quickest of the lot. So there you have it. Same test as Pierre did. It was a bit more awkward for me to do it because where my drill press is, but we got there. Normally I would always bolt stuff down. I don't like doing it handheld like that, but with a saw blade you haven't got much choice unless you cut a section out. So we had to do it the Pierre way. Anyway, there you go. What else can we say? Yes, I did mic up these Chinese drills on the flutes afterwards, because one of the viewers said, oh, you know, I was taught to mic up drills on the flutes, and he is dead right. I was taught that way too, but I was just a slacker when I did the original video. And when I mic'd them up, I found they were all larger on the flute than on the shank. So they were actually all only a tad under. Well, I haven't mic'd up those big ones yet. I'll just mic up a couple now, and we'll have a quick look anyway, just show you what it's like. Alright, here's a 13, an 8 and a 6. See how we get on. Do the 6 first. .963 for the 6mm. That's pretty good. About normal. About what you'd expect. There we go, the 8. It's tricky doing it on the flutes, depending on how they've rolled them. 7.968 for the 8mm. That's normal too. That's what you'd usually get on drills. Now we go for the big mother, the 13. Now this was well under on the shank. Well under. .486, and that's a 13, so it's still well under. And the shank, $12.650, $12.649. Oh well, there you have it. The micrometer doesn't lie. So, in summing up, what can we say? Well, in the first video, the previous video, they drilled through everything I threw at them, got okay. In this current video, they drilled through that circular saw plate just as well as the other stuff. Metal-wise, I think they're close to the premium stuff. Probably not quite as good, just a fraction of a difference. When I went through and looked at them all, I found that 6 of them needed deburring. They were ground okay, but they needed deburring, so just a wipe on an issue or an oil stone does that in a matter of minutes, so that's no big deal. But there were 2 drills in the smaller sizes that were ground badly. One I just dressed up a bit, but one was totally wrong. The angles on the flutes were just useless. It would never drill anything, so one was bad. There's a question over the 13mm drill. I pretty much bet that is 1/2 inch Imperial being put in there. All the rest seemed fine, and overall I think for the money, yeah, it's a good set. You know, some people in the comments said, oh look, you know, if you put them up against a set of P&Ns and other quality drills, these things would burn up in no time. Well, they went okay on the saw blade test. But the fact of the matter is, this is a cheap set of drills. You know, you're not spending a lot of money. You can't compare these to top quality drill set and expect to get necessarily the same performance. You know, it's apples and oranges. You buy cheap, you just hope you get something that's half decent. In my opinion, they are half decent, more than half decent. And certainly, yeah, as a set of drills, I'd shell out that sort of money because I think that's about what they're worth, you know. I think they're fine for just average use, you know. If you want to go top shelf, well, you're going to have to fork out a lot more money. But overall, yeah, I'd give them a pass quite easily. I think they're a good 9 out of 10. Well, that's all I can say. So anyway, I hope you got something out of this video as a follow-up. I thought it was necessary, and you can make your own mind up on what you think of them. But that's it from me. It's time for a beer. I'll see you next time. Cheers.